Welcome to the post-game hang. Clippers just lost in Phoenix in an incredibly close game that I don't know if it should have been this close. We saw some great fight from the Clippers in the third quarter. We saw fourth quarter Kawhi minutes, which is fantastic. That's one of the better things to take away from this game. Kawhi Leonard played his most minutes of the season. He played his first fourth quarter minutes. It was good stuff from Kawhi. The Clippers just couldn't make it happen. The Suns made so many three-pointers in this game. I cannot express how disappointing that was to see. The Suns made their game average of three-pointers in the first half in this game, which was difficult for the Clippers to overcome. If you're just joining, I'm Chuck Mockler, one of the hosts of the Clips and Dip podcast. Yeah, that was just a frustrating game. Um, the Clippers made 10, which wasn't ideal. Again, this game was incredibly close. I don't know if it should have been this close. I don't mean that disrespectfully to the Clippers at all. But like the math problem of this game, the Clippers should have lost by more. But there was a wonderful run in the fourth quarter in this game. They had a 17-3 run in the third, which was awesome. There was a lot of good stuff, but the bad stuff was really annoying in this one. I think the bad stuff was the first half defense was really bad for the Clippers in this one. The first half defense was not good from like kind of anybody, which was disappointing, I think. They gave up so many offensive rebounds. They gave up some offensive they gave up, I don't know how many times tonight the Suns would miss a three, get the board, make the three. It felt like it happened 200 times. Goofy 117 saying this game had a good run, but very disappointing defense. Yeah, the defense locked in the third quarter. We saw it at the end of the fourth when the Clippers when the Clippers went on a really nice run there. But there just wasn't a full game of good defense from the Clippers, which was really frustrating. It just wasn't a full game of locked-in defense, which is rare for sure. The Clippers have played a lot of games over the last week or whatever it's been. So the fatigue you could see, but the defense just wasn't locked in. Ty was pissed. Van Gundy was pissed. Thanks for hanging out, by the way. Usually it's myself, Adam Osland, and Will Updike. Adam Osland is working. You can catch him on Clippers Talk. Will Updike, I believe, also maybe working late. I don't know. He might pop on. If you're listening to this on the audio, you can come watch us here at youtube.com/@ClippersPodcast after some games. It's a fun time. It's more fun when the Clippers win, but they did not win tonight. We talked about the defense they were just chasing the ball in this game, kind of for the whole first half. It was not a good first half for the Clippers. Derrick Jones Jr. had one of the craziest dunks, putback dunks of the year, which was really cool to see. The athleticism was there. That was a highlight from the first half. The Suns, either by product of the Clippers not being locked in on defense and kind of chasing the whole time, and some hot shooting, did not care about the paint at all, really, for most of this game. Which I'm wondering if that gives other teams the blueprint to just put our guards into a bunch of motion. That's not a revolutionary idea, but I'm wondering if we're going to see this about when Zoo, because knowing that there's no real backup center, other teams can just kind of ignore the paint a little bit. We'll see if this trend continues. Just put a pin in that for when you're watching the other Clippers games. Someone in the chat, Slick Tops, is asking what happened to Dunn. So Chris Dunn could join the team at some point on this upcoming road trip, reported from Law Murray earlier this game. He might be out the next 3 games. It's a knee thing. He's got the knee soreness. He might be out the next 3 games. He could rejoin the team at some point on this road trip. I hope he does. I think his absence tonight was pretty evident. Clippers tried. We saw some small ball that was kind of a mixed bag tonight, but you missed Chris Dunn on a night like this for sure. Yeah, but I mean, the third quarter, like we saw the team really kind of lock in the third quarter. There was the 17-3 run. It got a little mucky in the third quarter. The Clippers were able to cause some turnovers. They dodged a couple bullets too, which you need when you're trying to come back, on the road. There are some like turnovers for turnovers exchanges that happened. The Clippers thankfully were on the right side of. They were up by 1 at one point, but then it just like kind of the small ball lineup at the end of the third that did not have Norm in it was not very good. We're going to talk about individual players in a bit, but yeah, and then in the fourth, things were like kind of okay. Kawhi showed really great juice in the fourth. He had a layup that was he took charge from half court. It was awesome. The burst was very real. We saw Kawhi dunk also after taking an awkward fall, which I think we all felt good about. But the run was great. The Clippers were down 1 with 40 seconds left. And then, we kind of saw the legs catch up with us. Amir Coffey made some great plays in this game. Zoo led the way with 25. He had 16 boards. Zoo was a monster tonight, too. Yeah, Miles Johnson pointing out the record versus the West is kind of disgraceful. It's not good right now. I don't know if I would use the word disgraceful, but the Clippers are 500 in the conference. You got to get the Sun. Nope. Other teams that are 500 in the conference, the Kings, the Warriors, the Spurs, all of those teams are 10th, 11th, and 12th. So you wish the conference record would be better. I agree 100%. Mason Plumlee was plus 22, as someone pointed out, which makes my head hurt. Don't like that at all. But there was some good things. This was a close game. I mean, you love to see the fight after they could have definitely rolled over at some point in the fourth before they went on the 10-0 run. I think it was 10-0. The most important thing to take away from this game is that Kawhi played fourth quarter minutes, which was fantastic. He looked great in the fourth quarter, which I think is also awesome. We should all be excited about that. A lot of people are upset at Ty Lue. I don't know what level of blame I put on Ty Lue because some of the defense we saw tonight, I'm not excusing Ty Lue all the way, but some of the defense we saw tonight was not Ty Lue's fault. It was bad. If you watch this game, the first half defense was bad. That's not all on Ty Lue. But this is tough. This was a tough loss, standings-wise, for sure. Clippers were outscored. This is an interesting stat. Clippers were outscored by 22 points in the 16 minutes that Derrick Jones Jr. was off the floor tonight. Huh. Interesting. Not the best bench game from the Clippers tonight. We had 8 points off the bench for the Clippers. That's not going to get it done. 8 points is not, it's not going to get it done. Amir Coffey had 6 of those points for reference. The best plus minus on the bench was Mo Bamba, who was -7 in 5 minutes. Terrence was -7 in 7 minutes. The Terrence thing is a little annoying. He's got to be traded. I don't want him to be traded. I'm sentimental about Terrence Mann. I know he hasn't had a good season, but he's probably going to be traded. They should probably trade him if they're not really going to play him, which was annoying. A lot of negativity in the chat. I understand. It was a frustrating loss. Harden was a little rough tonight not a little rough tonight. 7 turnovers from James Harden was bad. That was partly some of them were kind of like we traded off turnovers with the Mavs, but it was tough. Anytime you're at a 10-7 assist to turnover ratio, it's going to be difficult to overcome things, which was not ideal. Zoo had a great game. Defensively, he was okay. I mean, he had 16 boards. I don't know how many boards he's supposed to grab if he has 16. Looking at it now, the bench had 5 boards, which is bad. This was a really bad bench game for the Clippers. Norm did his thing, 23 points. Chunky stat line for Norm, 23, 5, and 4. Norm did a lot in this game. So some people are criticizing the small ball in the chat. So David R is saying Zoo doesn't need to come out of games in favor of small ball. What is the benefit? He does have to rest at some point. I think that's a fair take. But the issue is that Mo Bamba is not good enough to be a backup 5 for even 7 minutes. Even 5 minutes. Mo Bamba was -7 in 5 minutes. Yes, the Suns were hitting threes. The reason that we were gonna see small ball anyway, but part of the reason we're seeing small ball is because there's no backup center. There's none. It's very bad. The Clippers need to make a trade for a backup center. It's like gotta be P1 right now. I wish Zoo could play 48 minutes. That would be awesome. But he cannot. Elijah asking, backup big or backup point guard is priority? Backup big. We have so many guards. And we got to Nico's got to get some rest. Someone in the chat was saying that it was kind of a rough Nico game. And you're not wrong. Nico's been looking more so used to seeing Nico kind of outperform, I guess. What he's supposed about that? Absolutely cut out. Yeah, so the Nico problem, as I was talking about, it's just he's looking a little older now. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, sorry about that. Incredible technical difficulties there. Nico's looking a little old, which is not ideal. He's played a lot of backup 5. He keeps having to play the backup 5 again because Mo Bamba is not good enough to play the backup 5 for the Clippers. So that's why we're seeing this kind of bad, like, we have to watch just these bad backup center minutes. And the small ball at one point was good tonight, right? Like, there was at one point Norm was in the small ball lineup and it was pretty solid. But then it just wasn't there. The good things from this game, Kawhi Leonard looked spry even after taking a fall, which is great. Amir Coffey is very much rising up the rotation charts. I don't know how much higher he can get. Yeah, people are saying okay. Vucevic, maybe his defense is so bad. We watched every Clipper go right by Vucevic. I know it's backup. I know it's backup 5 minutes, so it's kind of what we're dealing with. Like this point from David R. Maybe Nico will recharge after some rest. I certainly hope so. He needs it. That's no disrespect to the guy, but he does need some rest. Every Clipper needs some rest. The Clippers look a little tired. And the scheduling's been brutal with the reschedules. But that's where we are. It hurts to lose this game. Again, I want to reiterate that. No one's brought it up. Okay, someone immediately brought it up as soon as that. Someone saying, was KPJ that bad? Okay, Saturday, it's the KPJ roller coaster, right? So Saturday night, KPJ was great. Kevin Porter Jr. was really good on Saturday versus the Bucks in a fantastic game that the Clippers won. Tonight, he was rough. It was not a good KPJ game. He went 0 for 3. 2 of the shots were mid-range shots that I think one got blocked and one was short. He had a possession where I think his last shot that he missed, he tried to shoot over KPJ. Or not KPJ. He tried to shoot over KD in the post, and it didn't work. And then he turned the ball over, and Kawhi got called for a foul. So this was a bad KPJ game. He was great on Saturday. Again, it's a roller coaster. It was down this game, but it was a really rough KPJ game. In a game where the bench only scores 8 points and he scores none of them, it's a bad game. He's the backup too. We're not expecting a bunch of good stuff from him, but it was a bad one tonight. It was not ideal. People are asking for Valanciunas in the chat. I could see that. We'll see what the asking price is. The thing is, though, Adam brought this up on our last show, which is a really good point. The Lakers are probably looking for a backup 5-2 or some kind of good 5 after the whole AD stuff. So the Clippers have some competition in the whole, like, let's find a center trade market, which kind of sucks. That was a good point from Adam. Joe Deff saying Dave Pingalore is terrible. I had someone texting me that earlier, and I don't think it's true. I think he just had an off night. David R saying, let's give T-Man 20 games with his normal rotation minutes, and everyone will forget about KPJ. I don't know. I mean, the Terrence thing is weird. They got to move him. If they're not going to, again, so the Clippers have a big hole in the roster, and that is PJ Tucker's spot. He's just not with the team. He cannot possibly contribute minutes. So if they're not going to play Terrence Mann, like real stints, I guess, for like what a rotation is actually going to shake out to come playoff time, they got to get some value from him if they're not going to play him. Because here's the thing. We saw Kawhi Leonard play fourth quarter minutes tonight, and he was fantastic. It was amazing. We are getting closer to no minutes restriction Kawhi, which is going to rule. But there's still kind of these rotation questions, right? What does it look like when Chris Dunn comes back? Hopefully he joins them on the upcoming trip. Is Terrence just out of it completely once that happens? Because the rotation's not going to be bigger. We're not going to roll into the playoffs with a 10-guy rotation, I don't think. So there's a couple weeks when we start to wonder what the heck the actual rotation is going to look like. But yeah, tough loss night if you're just joining. The Clippers almost managed to win a game in which they got more than doubled up and 3-pointers made in, which was fantastic. You love to see the fight. The first half defense was very bad. I can't remember who it was, but someone pointed out the conference record is not good for the Clippers. It's 500. Again, yeah, it doesn't make you feel they don't own any real tiebreakers. I don't think. We'll talk about it when we do the full app, but I don't think they own any full tiebreakers, which hurts. Yeah. It's kind of crazy that they're 26-19 with a 500 conference record. Or they're below 500 now. They're 16-17. Yeah, that's not good. The only other teams with a below 500 conference record are the Blazers, Pelicans, and Jazz. Anomalies, which is not good. Nope, hold on. Yeah, it wasn't good tonight. They lost from a 3. The Clippers crushed the paint, though. That was cool to see. They're like plus 35 in the paint. I don't know. Just not enough threes tonight. And when I say not enough threes, I just mean that in the sense of like it's hard to beat a team who makes 22 threes and shoots 47%, especially when you shoot 30%. And just giving up the glass, it hurt. I know if you look at the box score, it says they only lost offensive rebounds by 1, but it was rough in the first half and late. Just didn't really roll into the game with. There was so much good momentum that was created on Saturday, versus the Bucks. There was a lot of good momentum. We kind of knew Kawhi was going to play a little bit more, but they just didn't play They didn't do any. It was so rough in the first half, effort wise, on defense, and a really bad bench night. So that's what you get. But let's be happy and thankful that Kawhi Leonard played fourth quarter minutes. It was wonderful to see. Let's hope the threes start to fall. I don't know. I'm being picky for that. I don't know. They need some rest. They're not going to get any rest. Another thing that sucks about Chris Dunn being hurt is you miss him from a game like this, and you miss him on this upcoming road trip if you can't make it. Because the Clippers, God, they just play every other. So the Clippers play again on Wednesday. They play again on Friday. They play on Sunday. They play then again on Tuesday, then Thursday, then they get a day off, and then it's the 8th, and they have another. They have so many games come up, which is they need Chris Dunn back. That's going to help everything, just rotation-wise, defensively. But like this is, they were talking about the dog days of the season. We're still in those. There's a lot of games left for the Clippers. There's a back-to-back before the All-Star break. I think, yep. Yeah, they have a back-to-back, and then they get the All-Star break off. No, it's like it's rough. And then in March, again, there's 17 games. So we'll see. This is a great point. Coffee played some great defense on KD, and KD just did what KD does, which is make buckets. Amir took a charge late that almost turned this game around. Almost got the Clippers the lead, which was awesome. So Amir Coffee, he's not going anywhere. Tough go of this one. You don't like to lose conference games, and now the Clippers are below 500 in the conference, which sucks. But I am going to get out of here. We're going to have a full ep for you guys probably on Wednesday. Get the fellas together, get the app, or no, maybe Thursday. We'll figure it out. Thanks for hanging out. Sucks the Clippers couldn't win, but it kind of makes sense after how they played in the first half and just how math works when it comes to making 3-pointers. Here's